Talk about college. Where'd you go to college?
Georgia Southern.
That's Mike.
Yeah, I know, man. That's like I said, my whole family. I'm the only one that didn't graduate from there. I think everybody thinks that I did, but I left with about 18 hours left.
You think you'll finish it ever?
I'd
someday?
like to. I think that'd be good to do that. I always said, my mom, it broke her heart when I left to move to Nashville, but also I think if I wouldn't have been at Georgia Southern and wouldn't have had that time there, I'd have never started my career. So
this guy's in Statesboro more now than I was when I was a student there. I mean, he's down there all the time, so he might as well go ahead and knock out those last 18 hours, when you're just
that'd be good. I know. I kind of thought to go back and finish up, but it's crazy to think why I left and the career I chose, and I could not public speak. I literally left because I knew I was going to have my final in one of my classes was an hour presentation.
Damn.
And by myself, I was like, there's no chance.
Yeah.
I might as well just go ahead and pack it
That's
up and
why
move
you
to
left?
Nashville. I mean, it's a lot of the reason. I mean, I think I don't know. That was not for me, the whole public speaking thing. And it's just crazy when I tell people that. They're like, so you get up in front of that many people now? And it's like, but I know what I'm doing up there. I didn't know what I was doing in college. I don't think so.
Well, let's talk about that. So I didn't love getting up in front of big crowds, but you adjust and you kind of, I guess as a country singer or singer, the crowds kind of start small and hopefully get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So it ain't like you're just thrown to the wolves. But,
right.
But you did go out on a giant stage one day, much, much bigger than the last one. And did you ever have stage fright? Did you ever have fear of failure? Or
oh, man, every day. I think.
And do you still have that?
Yeah, I do. I think, I mean, people ask, there may be thousands of people in the crowd, and that's one thing, but playing to about 10 when you're first starting out, I mean, that's even more nerve-wracking, I think. It's just there's nobody here. And it's, I'll never forget the first show we ever played in Statesboro, Georgia, a bar called Loco's, and I was so nervous. I mean, we had to have a couple of beverages before, and just to think about that. And I got to, later on, getting a tour with Kenny Chesney, I got to tell him the first song I ever played in college was a song called Don't Happen Twice. And just to tell him that story, and then for him to say, hey, well, we got to get you up and sing it sometime, and just to think about how everything happens, man. It's crazy, and that's all I've ever wanted to do since then, was to make it where I could, bring somebody else up with me that believed in me when I was just starting out. So,
but every time you go to a venue and you're getting and you're an hour, 30 minutes away from going on, you got those jitters.
Yeah. It's I'm impatient. I'm ready to go, man. It's just tough to sit back there.
I'm trying to imagine it's comparable to the same thing a driver feels before every race. We know what we're doing, but you're still worried about success. Going well.
There's pressure, and
nothing breaking,
right.
Nothing going wrong.
Right, and you got a lot of people. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you got a lot of people that got you to where you are. You got a lot of people that put a lot of work and time into it, and you don't want to let them down. That's the thing. But it's a little easier, I think, going out and singing. I think sometimes if I have a bad show, the crowd may not even know it. Like if you have a bad day, like people know it. You know what I mean?
We were just talking about that. So in broadcasting, I go up there and I'll say something stupid or completely wrong. The other day they had me hosting this booth we was talking about this on the show a couple weeks ago or last week, and I'm hosting, so I'm going to send us a commercial and then bring us back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do something cool like these guys in the 80s used to do. They used to say, we're on lap 80, 150 miles in. We'll see, they would say the miles. We don't do that anymore. We just say 80 laps in, or there's 35 laps to go. I was going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And be like, man, I know the miles that we got
there you go.
to go, And so I had them print me this sheet out, and the guy's like, the producer's in there. He's like, we're going to commercial in 10, 9, 8. And I'm like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are 7 miles in. And I grab my paper, and I'm like, where's 7? Because I got it all written down. 7 miles is 35. 7 laps is 35 miles. I'm like,
see, you messed it up even now.
I know. I'm like, we're 7 laps.
I've got it right here.
We're 7 laps in. We're 53. I just blurted out a number because I couldn't find it, right? And I was like 30 miles off.
You had to. You got to go. Right then, yeah.
And I'm like, and so I got done, and I'm like, man, I fucked that all up. I was so bad. I'm shitty at what I do. And I walk out of the booth feeling terrible about myself. and we talked about it on the show, and everybody's like, "Man, I didn't even notice that."
Exactly.
People don't even know when you're messing up.
And that's something I've had to learn. I mean, especially when I started out. I mean, I'd forget a word, and I'd want to start the song over, or be like, "Hey, let's do that," and it's like, no,
can't
keep going, man. They half the time they don't even know, and that's just. I think you put so much pressure on yourself to want to do it right, but it's.
Do you hear when you're up on stage playing a song and somebody makes a small mistake?
Yeah.
Do you hear every little sound? Are you that tuned in?
A lot of it, yeah. I mean, but
and you
also
turn and look at each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No?
I'm not gonna do that.
No,
Cause
you just smirk or something.
Yeah, it's just kind of you learn to have fun with it. I mean, we make fun of each other and especially give each other as soon as we get off stage. We're like, yeah, I heard that, dude. That was terrible.
This show the other night, did you mess up at all? Was there any mess ups the one you played in Charlotte?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Did you mess up though?
I probably forgot a lyric or two.
Really?
It's just I get lost. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you get lost in the crowd, and it's just like, hey. This is,
What the hell was I just saying?
What did I just do? It's like,
Yeah. That's funny, man.
You could just mouth the words and then basically throw the sound
that's
guy
the-
under the bus.
Well, that's
right?
the thing. Yeah, I mean, I have a microphone. I can just hand it to the crowd, just be like, "Here,
That's
y'all
right.
sing it."
Y'all
And it's
do
like, yeah, y'all got it. So
That's awesome.
thank God for country radio, or they wouldn't know my stuff. So yeah.
All right, so you're in college. What are you doing that's connecting you to music?
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly where it started for me. I was a huge sports fan growing up, but also loved music. And that's where I played my first show. That's where it all kind of got started, me starting to sing and wanting to write songs. And that, just playing the bars. That's what I always say. I played sports in high school. And then
How'd you learn to play
bars.
music? How'd you learn to play an instrument?
My dad was always, he was the first person I ever heard play guitar. And that was just, but I still didn't know that was for me. I just always loved music. I never thought that I would, be in this business. And that's kind of how it started. Just honestly being in college and just playing cover songs. And I realized I was like, hey, I got to write my own stuff.
When were you at Georgia Southern?
2001, way too long.
Oh no, I've
the
probably
answer for
got
that.
you beat on that one.
But no, I was there, 2001 to 2006, and then moved to Nashville 2007.
You are pushing my record, I bet.
Oh,
I was there 95 to 01.
Hey, that's
I
good.
mean, we
Y'all band must have crossed paths.
Crossed
One
paths.
walking in, one walking out.
we tagged. Just I'm
Right.
out. I'm out.
Your
You're
turn.
in. Yeah.
Your turn. Hey, I should have said, watch out for that public speaking class. It's a doozy, boy.
I didn't even take public speaking.
So you were there. Okay, so you're playing all those locals. So bars change names so often
Oh,
that
yeah.
we probably would be talking about the same bars. But so when I was there, Luke Bryan was there,
Yep.
and he was in a band called Miami Road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember, speaking of mess ups, like I remember being at the time it was called Legends,
Yep. Absolutely.
and he forgot the whole verse to a song. And it wasn't even it wasn't his song. It was like I don't know, Sweet Home Alabama or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and I just never forget. I was like, that son of a bitch will never make it. You know?
That's the first show I ever saw him play was at Legends. I mean, that was.
Was it?
Yeah, absolutely. And he, that's where I met him. Is at Georgia Southern, and he had already moved to Nashville and had come back to do a show with Miami Road. And I just remember he pulled up the fraternity house, had to change his strings, and it's like, hey, y'all mind if I play a song I wrote? And I was just like, wait, you wrote that? And that was really, he's such a big influence, and I know a lot of people know that, but just hearing a song that somebody wrote, and that made me realize that, man, I'm just singing cover songs. Like, these aren't my songs. Like, I want people to be singing back songs that I wrote,
Yep. How do you end up working with Luke? You end up selling merch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you say everybody knows
But they might,
this
yeah.
connection. I didn't know it.
Right.
There's a lot of people listening that didn't
Yep.
know this.
Yep.
So you're the fraternity house, being at
Yep.
the fraternity house,
Yep.
that's how you met Luke.
Yep.
How do you get to where you're working with him?
I was just a fan of his music and his writing, and he would send me songs the same way I do people now when I write songs. I send them like, hey, check this out or check this out. And I remember I could never keep a Luke Bryan CD because I just passed them out to everybody. I'm like, hey, you got to check this out. And it was just somebody that, I believed in their music. And I remember, when I was leaving to go to school. He wasn't going to hire me. He's like, no, you got to finish school. And I was like, I was like, this is a waste of time. I got to get out of here, you know. And he gave me my first job, and to be out there, it's crazy. I remember being in Boston or somewhere first time, and somebody walked by the merch table and was like, who the hell's Luke Bryan? And I'm like, what? How do you not know who this is? And you just realize it's like, man, you know, just because you're from Georgia, everybody ain't, you know. And it was just cool to grow up in the business, you know, around somebody like that, you know, because when I started working for him, he wasn't the Luke Bryan he is now that everybody knows. It was just, he was a new artist, and you know, just to get to see how somebody does it like that, and to be around everything you got to do. And you know, when I got my opportunity, it was kind of like I'd been there, but I'd never done it. I'd been around it, you know.
So when you say when I got my opportunity, what is that? What is getting your opportunity? What happens?
Man, I you know, to go from selling T-shirts to, you know, and I was writing songs on the road, but you know, getting a publishing deal and getting paid to write songs. I mean, that's why I moved to Nashville. But
does somebody get you in front of?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, me and you know, Luke's band leader, guitar player Michael Carter, which produced everything I've done to this point. Me and him were writing a bunch of songs that I thought y'all were about to play earlier. I thank God y'all don't have a copy of those. But you know, that was my opportunity, I think, to branch out. And Luke knew. I mean, he knew I didn't move to Nashville to sell T-shirts.
Yeah.
And you know, I think when he finally started seeing I was writing and became really serious about it, he's like, hey, you got to go do your own thing, you know. And that's I just appreciate.
He told you that.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember hearing the story about him. You know, his dad pretty much had to fire him to make him move to Nashville, because it's just you know, you're comfortable, you're loyal to people, and you don't want to, you know, leave them. But it's, you know, he knew, and I think, man, just looking back, I mean, he's obviously a huge reason why I am where I am. So,
do you want more of that conversation with Cole Swindell? Well, the Dale Jr. download is available on all major podcast platforms.